Visible? Slide here. Now, share the screen. Now, the Toru family, renowned from the astrology, progress, westernized outlook and literary learning, was a gifted product of the cultural renaissance of mid 19th century Bengal. Her father was noted linguistic and published poet writing in English, while her mother was a cultured and intelligent woman with her literary bent of mind. Toru's uncle and cousins were also prolific writers of prose and poetry in English. Their cousins, their cousin was the poet and civil servant Ramesh Chandur Dutt. Both girls honed their English and French during a four-year residence in England and France, starting in 1869 at the French school at Nice. Then in London in 1870, where the Dutt family album was published, and the last in Cambridge in 1871, where their sisters attend the higher lecture of women. The family returned in September 1873 to their city house in Rambangan, their garden radiation on Biguman. The Toru had thorough knowledge of Indians' traditional past, and he had given her a strong foundation for uh, s- a better superstructure to be the constructed over the edific in the stories, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Vishnu Puran, and the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Torudat found a rich food for her imagination. After her return in India, she began to the study Sanskrit and acquired mastery in that she read the Hindu classic in the original Sanskrit version. She brought out her second volume under the title of Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan, the with an introduction by Edmund Goes, who considered it Toru's chief legacy of poetry. Here she glorifies Indians' cultural heritage. She evolved herself from a translator into a poet. She translated many French and Sanskrit poems into English. Her work, Ancient Ballad and the Legends of Hindustan, Sita, Life and Letters of Toru Dutt, Savitri, Lakshman. Her works, essays. Toru's essay appeared into the print of the first time in December 1847 in the Bengal magazine. Translation A Sense from Contemporary History. In June and July 1857 came out two translations in prose by Toru. In fact, these were two speeches delivered in the French Linguistic Assembly. A sharp glance in French film. In March 1856, Toru thus published a sharp glance in French film in contemplated translation of 165 poems. Toru's book was popular that within a few months of its publication, a second edition of it was printed. Another is Pinca or the Young Spanish Maiden. It was the unfinished romance published after Toru's death. Vinca was the published in the Bengal magazine between January and April 1878 as a serial. Lay General the Medical Davies, it was a finished novel by Toru. Letters. Toru's letters were published in 1921 under the title The Life of and letters. Toru had written 53 letters. Only her British friend named Mary Martin. Another Indian writing is the ancient ballad and legends of Hindustan. He was written and he was published in 8082 after her death. There are the nine ballads or legends in it. They are based on Indian myths and legends or goddesses. The first thing the streak has about the poetics in her anxiety for the presentation and the interpretation of Hindu myths and legends and the expand of remolitation of the Hindu view of life. Though as a Christian by faith, a snob in French and English culture, she was at heart a true Indian and she heard the story of Hindu epics and Puran. The story of the mystery and miracles from her parents and her ancient ballads and legend at Hindustan hold a mirror of the soil of India and breathe. The Edmund was a point of Vedic solemnity and simplicity of temper. The stories of Savitri, Lakshman, Bhutto, Prahlad, etc. are not made tales, the nourishment blood are instead with the great moral value. E.F. Orton appreciated her creative and the imaginative power and her almost faithful technical Toru car- craftsmanship in verse is beautifully both the ancient ballad and legendary of Hindustan. The first Savitri. The Savitri deal with the immortal legend of Satyavan's death and his wife access to the getting his husband and his the poem is the ambitions and the volume of the true love and the death. The Lakshman poem was the Aranyakan. Jogadhya Uma, he is the deal with the original Indian legend and is the goddesses appear to the daughter of the priest and the temple of kingdom. The royal aesthetic and Hind is the deal with of the king of Ramayan, king of the Bharat and the sacrifice Bharat and who rules of behalf the Rams and his sleepers Dhruva. The Dhruva deal with the shine spirit and the forever the sky of famous of Dhruv Tara. Booth. The wood deal with the Eklavya story and Arjun and Eklavya archery. The Sindhu deal with with the Shravana Kumar and his blind parents curse of Dashrath Prahlad. The Prahlad devote the child and who saved by Lord Vishnu of Narsimha avatar, killing by cruel king and his Prahlad father Hiranyakashipu. The Sita is poem was the Valmiki heritage, and another is the work. The most popular among them are two poems: the Lotus and our Kirina's trees, the Lakshmana poem. In poem like Lakshman, we find the translator growing into the poet, and he poem the Aranyakand to the Ramayan, and he poem based on and jungle, and he is Lakshman. The sketch is very evil and cruel. The thought of the Lakshman he shot is the brilliant poem of 19th stanza within the short pen, and she start present the character of Sita and Lakshman. By the using the method of construct. She, despite the reaction of Sita and Lakshman, to to suspend calamities, the loss of her news, her occupies and excess Lakshman of infidelity and evil design. Sita gently and sadness of heart despair in the face of crisis, and she becomes weak while in the grief of fear, and she forgot her husband, Violet, and strength and mistrust Lakshman. Another poem, a sea of floggish grid of a garden round. Christmas, Lakshman, love came the florer asking for a flower. Moses, my vacation, our Christmas tree, sonnet, the broken bell, the death of wolf, the racket of Moscow, the sleep of Condor, the shower, the young captive. And another, the K.R. Srinivasan Iyengar has rightly observed that Toru's feelings is right, the feelings for the word, and incapable, and here I and ear way alike turn for the poetic description and dialogue. Among her, the shorter poem, Crimless Tree can claim its place with the great and immortal poem in the with whole range of English language by virtue of the structure, beauty, rich and subtle, and metaphorical design. This is my work cited. Thank you. Uh, Toru Dutt Lakshmana poem Aranyagan in by the Sita, Ram, and Lakshman described in poem. Uh, Ram was kill his golden deer marriage, and marriage in his run away the deer. So the Ram boys, so the Sita listen and the to tell the Lakshman to save her brother life, and Lakshman told no. So she agree with Lakshman, and uh, he's tone his Lakshman, so save your brother. And Valmiki Ramayana, this can not to describe the Toru that poem.
Janvi, my question is, what is the common background of Torudat's works?
uh, Toru that common background in ancient Ballad was the god and goddesses, and another work, another poems is the he's most of poem he's written in French and English to the most of poem the culture of French and English, and after he came India to write another works is Indian culture.